Hi, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency. Agency, super excited to be on here today with you. We got some, what do I have, Jade? What do I have? I have some news, I've got some updates, got things to cover, things to say. First off, drop in the chat below where you're joining me from. Love to say hi to a few of you. And also, what I always like to say is that a party is more fun with more people. And knowing that, in my younger self would be saying that the best thing you can do right now is invite other people onto this call to join you. Why? Because Gus is going to share how in 4 months he issued over $170,000 with us. Just getting started, just getting going, focused on building an agency now as well, which is the two muscles we build here at FFL, the production muscle and the building muscle, where we protect our now expenses with now sales, and we protect our long-term expenses and self with long-term sales and overrides. So good to see some people coming in from Colorado, Raleigh, Mo up in AZ, hello. We got some people from Houston, Colorado Springs, Colorado joining us on YouTube. But take the link, Join America Live, drop it into your group chats, your WhatsApps, your Telegrams, your GroupMes, your Slacks, your Discords, and let people know, hey, about to learn from a guy who's selling at a significantly high level. This may or may not be for you. Always use a takeaway, may or may not be for you, but worth checking out. Super normal guy, family man, and just someone who wants a better life for his family and for his future, learning how to do this business at a high level and succeeding. So he's going to go through a script, lead flow, what he does, how he succeeds, and anyone on your team should be here with you, learning how to get better at the same time. I'm about to go through some updates, etc. So drop that link, Join America Live in any of your group chats, etc., and bring some people on. As the numbers are starting to climb, we've almost doubled since the call started. So good to see so many of you on here and bringing people on. Hello. Hello, John. Nice to see John. What's up, Quentin Kelly? And so many of you guys out there. So without further ado, got a ton to cover. Have a great moment at the end and have a phenomenal guest trainer who's just an all-around great person. But you're going to love him even more. He'll be at convention with his wife and his agents as well. And so that's what's fun about this business is you do well, and then we keep helping you do better. That's where we're at, guys. So good to see some more people coming on here. So without further ado, Natasha, let us do it. Oh, as we progress though, right here, I would love everybody to drop an NG in the chat below. Natasha is a little under the weather, and she, like an absolute animal, is with with all the reasons to not show up to this call, is here helping, supporting, running the back end, helping run this company, and committed to making sure we give the absolute best production possible for you guys. So if you could please do me a favor. If I've done anything for you in your life, if I helped you in any capacity, do me this favor, drop some NGs in the chat below. If you want to do 2, you want to do 3, just show her some love and drop some NGs just to pay it forward and tell her you appreciate her and how hard she works to make this company even better. And I know I appreciate her, but pound the NG in the chat and I will appreciate that. So, all right, getting started. We have some discounts right now. One of the best benefits of a Family First Life partnering with Integrity was our access to their lead center, which is now called Integrity Connect Leads, to their tools, which is now called Integrity Connect. And we're going forward, it's called Integrity Connect. But Integrity Connect right now, 25% discount, Gold Life Leads. Discount auto applied starting tomorrow, 25% off. Discount auto applied. No code needed. All right, next coupon. 50% off Bronze Final Expense Mailers. If any of you remember the call we did with Christina and Andy, this discount ends today. So take advantage of it. Screenshot this. Use it after the call. Don't leave me to go buy leads. They'll still be there, but stick with me. But Christina Andy, if you remember her call from a few months back, she's a referral monster. Go find it on our YouTube channel. She does over 10,000 a week off of $150 of these leads. I believe they're 50 cents already. So now 50% off, my math would say 25 cents a lead. And she gets H bronze final expense mailers, calls them up. Thing about people is they're always looking to buy stuff if they love their family. Maybe the prices have come down. Maybe their health has changed. Maybe life has changed. They're looking for more insurance. But the great thing about partnering with Integrity and on the leads we have access to is those have not yet been sold, meaning they have not purchased insurance, because Integrity, we scrub everything and we make sure that if they've been sold, marked sold, we pull it out so it cannot get resold. So that's the beautiful thing. I think there's 500,000 leads in the ILC right now that are that are leads looking to become your clients. So 50% off right now, bronze final expense mailers that have been filled out with pen and mailed back, and they're waiting for you to contact them. 50% off Fresh 26. 30% off all marketplace social media leads. Right now, I keep checking the date. That's what I'm looking for. I'm like, is it, because I keep forgetting it is the 22nd. So right now, live, push 26, all marketplace social media leads. I believe that includes social media generated mortgage protection, social media generated IUL, and I think they started adding some vet leads in there as well. So all marketplace social media leads are 30% off. So take advantage of that as well. Thank you, Integrity, for continuing to invest in us. Right now, just got this email from Devin Martin yesterday. We love Devin. I wrote it out because I don't have to read this. But Devin Martin yesterday, he said that NLG IUL update releasing this Saturday, so in 2 days, are the long-awaited and requested improvements to NLG's Instant Decision Rapid Protect IUL. This goes up to $500,000 instant issue, which means you're getting paid the next pay cycle. First edition, instead of having to select their trust, it is now beneficiary selection on application, which is a great addition. But I don't design life insurance products, and why that wasn't part of the original rollout is I don't know why, but now it is. So beneficiary selection on application, fantastic. Number 2, instead of it, the day you submit, become immediate approval. If you now need to make it address, like the client gets paid the next Friday and they want it to come out then, boom, now you can just go choose any draft date. So that's the next gigantic improvement. So you want it 3, 4, 5 days. You want to adjust it a tiny bit. Obviously, we want insurance to go in place as soon as possible, because God forbid something happened to the client yesterday or today or tomorrow and they haven't paid yet. Just because they got approved does not mean the insurance carrier is going to pay it out. The insurance is not bound until approval comes from the carrier and payment comes from the client. So you might think you're doing your client a favor by pushing that draft date out 31 days, but in reality, you've just now pushed out the chances of them actually getting paid if God forbid something happened. Now I know things happen, so a lot of insurance, and I get it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make a sale. But the sooner you can get that client to make their first payment, the sooner it will be bound, the sooner they'll be protected, the sooner that family will now have coverage. So choose any draft date, wonderful, it's editable. And third update, view rate class decision on approval. So if you're a highly skilled agent, you're shopping around trying to find different products for your clients. Now it's express or standard. I believe the different rating classes that come are immediately viewable at the end, so you then know the price your client is paying. So NLGs continue to make enhancements and improvements to make our job better. And one of the best things about this, if you're a high producer or an agency manager, NLG is 100% bonusable. So as a producer, all of your production from NLG adds towards your bonusable premium to get that free bonus money from corporate that they pay out every single month. So beyond grateful for them, beyond grateful for NLG, and just more enhancements to make our job easier. Congratulations to our top 20 team managers for the month of December. Ended with an incredible $178 million issue paid by our team in 2025. Absolutely unreal to see what continues to happen, what continues to grow, in the leadership that is continuing to rise up each and every day, each and every week, and each and every month, introducing this business to new people, selling at a high level, and being there for their teams and their agencies. So congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to Riyadh, made it on the list. Absolutely incredible, brother. I know this has been a long journey for you, and I couldn't be prouder to see your numbers, your name, and in lights. And let's just keep going, man. And then also congratulations to number 17. New agency manager, Edmund Coutan, joined us just a few months ago and has transitioned over from the solar world, where he was the man, and now he's working his way to become the man in the insurance industry as well, but couldn't be prouder of him. The team he's building, the agents he's working with each and every day. It's been a true honor to get to know him and work with him more. So, of course, I mean, I love Caden, I love Jamie, I love CJ, I love everybody on here. The whole Spanish team, Elizabeth, Javier, Digna. However, you know, you guys have been on the list for a long time. So to have some new guys pop up, Riyadh, Edmund, couldn't be prouder of you guys. Couldn't be prouder of Nina and Hayden, Jay, Marissa, Caitlin and Jacob, everybody, Colton, my man, Colton and Derek and Hayden just ran a marathon this past weekend, you know, humble brag. And then Ryan Morgan, John Rint just continue to lead by example. Beautiful new office with his whole team. Luis Cabrera over there in Florida. Blake is amazing. Crystal Bolger and I will be sharing the stage next week at convention, which we'll talk about here in a second. Javier, incredible. Nicolette, Elizabeth, CJ, Jamie, Jay, CJ, Hayden, just incredible leadership, right? People who sell at a high level, who work diligently, are mature, handle their responsibilities, who are focused on this business. It's an incredible company when you can put together incredible people and everyone gets compensated, but at the same time creates a phenomenal environment for anyone that's out there. So if you could do me a favor, drop a 178 in the chat below, 178, to show that this incredible group of people put together $178 million of issue paid volume in 2025. I cannot fathom what we're going to do in 2026. I'm done guessing, and I just sit back and I'm grateful and I'm surprised and I'm proud each and every day. But that's a testament to everyone that's on here, everyone that's on this list, and everyone that wants to be on here. So if you're not on this list yet, set a goal and work hard each and every day, introduce this business to other people, and you'll be compensated incredibly well along the way. So great job, everybody. Coming up in 6 days is our meet and greet kickoff at convention, followed by our FFL USA Awards Gala. And I've been working with Andrew's team, Nina and Hayden's team, our team, that on a whim, and what's incredible, and I might have shared this before, that on a whim, we looked around and go, there's a lot of micro events, but you know what would be great is an amazing, massive pull together the first night of convention. And so Andrew, in his amazingness, wrote a check. And we called some of the carriers, and he filled up the rest. And that's what we did. And we rented the Toyota Music Factory Pavilion. It's a couple $100,000 to rent for the night. Like, it's where like a concert would be. Like I wouldn't say Coldplay would play there, but I'd say like Kings of Leon, like a I'd say a good band, Hootie, not who I don't know what Hootie and the Blowfish keeps popping in my head. That is an old band. It's a concert hall. Like, so we rented a concert venue, literally 500 walking feet from the Irving Convention Center, Westin, all the hotels, restaurants, etc. And then it's right on the strip in Irving, Las Colinas. I believe these are the synonyms of places in Dallas we're all going to. But Wednesday night, team meetup and awards night. We got the carriers coming, going to share some incredible insights. We're going to recognize over 200 people who've done over 2 million in volume in 2025 and over 300,000 in production in 2025. And then a ton of food and drinks, and it's going to be music. We got a DJ coming. I can't share everything we've got coming. It's going to be amazing. So good news. It's free. So all you got to do is show up, and we'd love to have you there. But please plan, if you're headed to Dallas next week, which we'll talk about more here in 2 seconds, make this part of your plan, right? Meet people here. Use this as a recruiting event if you want. Use this as a networking event. Go find every single person on this image and ask them for 30 seconds worth of tips on what they're doing to sell at a high level, recruit at a high level, build at a high level, and how they're winning at such a high level, and what you can do to match what they're doing. But here's the advice. If you're headed to convention, ask quick, short, specific questions to get long, valuable answers. Every time I meet someone and they talk for 3 minutes before they ask me a question, I go, listen, I got to go to the bathroom and I get back in the convention. I only had 3 minutes to give you, and you took 3 minutes to talk to me, to tell me about all your problems. I'm sorry you got problems. I got problems too. Next time, and I don't say this to the person, but in my head, I try to answer their questions as best as possible. But for you, you want this person to share with you as much value as possible. So ask them your specific, targeted, tangible question as quick as possible to get them to talk as long as possible. Some advice. So, but this event's going to be absolutely amazing. The pavilion at the Toyota Music Factory. I can't tell you, we're expecting thousands of people, and it's free. And I can't wait to see you all there. And just to kick off the event, Sean Mike will be there to close it out. So, expect some fireworks from him. And then we start full-on convention on Thursday morning. So please make sure you attend this in any capacity which you can. It will be amazing. And we're proud to honor all of our top producers and top agency managers, rookie producers, etc., and a few other surprises as well. So make sure you show up. 2 more slides and we're on to Gus. Buckle up, buddy. We've got this just honoring my lady, Miss Digna De Leon Morris. Her husband William got the good fortune spending some time with him more recently too, helping them grow an incredible agency. You saw her 2 slides back. I will tell you that in January, February of 2025, Digna's team was doing about $150,000 a month. In December, her agency did $2.1 million. What's the slide? Where'd the slide go? What did I thought it was 3.3. I'm going to tell you, I need the specific numbers. I see I didn't lose my train of thought. I knew exactly what I was trying to say. I just want to say it correctly because we have to set goals.
2.1.
2.1. Marissa did 3.3. Got it. So this is what happens. Digna set a goal to bring as many people as possible to the 2025 convention. As I talk to all my agency managers, I talk to people every single day. You will feel 2 feelings come Saturday evening. A feeling of pride or a feeling of being pissed. And pride is I worked my butt off to get as many people to the convention as possible. And pissed is I should have tried harder to get more people here because this was amazing, life-changing for me. And the people that I did get with me are so fired up to go out there and build. Digna took that advice in 2025 and got as many people as possible to convention. And was doing $150,000 in February of 2025. And just this past month in December, did $2.1 million. No big annuities, no nothing. All grind. And she's an incredible leader. Her and her husband, Willie, are absolutely incredible people. And on top of that, she's leading the Latino convention that will be happening simultaneously on Thursday and Friday. So that's happening also simultaneously for our bilingual speakers on the call. And in concert, we have our annual convention. So moving forward, is coming up next week. If you're just finding out about it, I apologize on behalf of whoever brought you in this business because they have let you down. But this is the absolute pinnacle, the absolute foundation of everything that we want for you to experience is our annual convention. And it is a once-a-year event that we put on that we charge $99 for. I've been on a lot of recruiting calls lately, and the people that I talk to are used to sign-up fees and monthly fees and $1,000 events they've got to go to every single month. And I say, you have no cost here. It's no cost to join. There's no monthly cost. You've got to go, if you want to, buy leads, great. We've got options. You want to generate them your own, great. Do yourself. I don't care what you do to become successful here. But the one expense we do have is our annual convention, only because it costs us like $11 million to put on. And in some way, we do like to crowdsource, ride share. I think that's Uber. We like to crowd fund the growth. And if so $99 to pitch in to help offset the gigantic costs which we incur as a company to throw this event, bring incredible top tier speakers, but also manage an entire event. That's it. So that's it. So, but right now, you've got a choice. If you're not yet coming, right? And as I talk right now, drop in the chat below in, or I'm in, or yes, or why, or something positive to let me know that you are coming to convention, and let everyone who's watching and thinking about coming, how many people just on this call alone are coming to convention. Because we're expecting, I'm not sure if we have yet, we're right about near fire marshal capacity. And that is an incredible place to be. It's also makes me sad a tiny bit that we don't have more that more people aren't going to be able to access this because they waited to the last minute. And life's about choices. Life's about defining moments. Life's about being presented an opportunity to go to a place for $99 that where you can learn from 200 plus $200,000 and $300,000 a year income earners, the best scripts, the best word tracks, how to overcome objections, their lead flow, their follow-up process, how to sell IULs, how to sell annuities, how to sell mortgage protection, how to sell whole life, how to recruit, how to build an agency, how to manage staff. All the things that you're struggling to think you need to learn how to learn are going to be on stage, given away to you at convention. And on top of that, we're going to bring in a bunch of top-level speakers to really inspire you and energize you and jazz you up and focus you on your future. So we got a gala Wednesday night, starts Thursday. Thursday night is our Hall of Fame dinner. You would have gotten an email and invite to that. That is for agency managers over 10 million a year and agent and producers over 400,000 in the past year. We're going to honor you at a Hall of Fame dinner. Then Friday night's our award ceremony. Do not miss it. Pivotal moment for myself as I was a brand new agent 3 weeks into this company. I went to my first convention. I went to the award ceremony because I wanted to see what I was working towards. And I left that, I was in tears, I was emotional, I was inspired, I was challenged, and I was driven more than ever. And my first year I went out and I broke every possible record that I could that existed in the company that has now been broken more times ever, but because I went to that event and I saw what was possible. So don't sell yourself short and go, hey, Friday night's award ceremony, I'm not getting an award, I'm gonna go to the bar. No, this is a work trip. Work trip. You're getting better this trip. This is where you're trying to get better. You're also going and find out who are the best people in the company. So as you see them around the convention, you can go ask them more questions and find out what they're doing so you yourself can get to the next level. Are you fired up yet? Are you fired up yet? That's what I'm trying to do. Let's get you focused on your future because that's all that matters. That's all that matters, right? You got a little bit of money in the bank account. You got a little bit of room on the credit card. If you don't change, nothing will change. If you don't change, nothing will change. So someone's knocking on my door. I don't know. So figure out a way where you can put yourself in a position where you can get yourself to the next level and get yourself to a convention. That's what's possible here. That's what we do here. And that's my advice to you. If you need some help, if you need you need a leg up, reach out to us. We're here to help. So without further ado, convention, can't wait. Please join us and we'll see you then. Okay, so pausing here. I think my neighbor knocked on the wall. I have to have a conversation with them. Listen, Thursdays, 1 to 2. All right, I'll buy you lunch if you can't handle me getting all excited in my office. But without further ado, I would love to bring on our next guest speaker. Before I do, Natasha, my classic, necessary, and required announcement is that party is more fun with more people. So right now, join America Live. Take that link and go ahead and put it into your group chats, your WhatsApps, your Telegrams, your group me's, your Discords, etc. And do what you can to get more people on this call with you because Gus will not let you down. His issue paid $170,000 in his first 4 months in this business. And I couldn't think of a better guy to kind of guide you along the way. So if you got to jump out, you got to click out of the app, click back in, join America Live. Gus is going live, going to share his IUL secrets and what he's doing to succeed at a high level. Join me, right? May or may not be for you, but find out on this call. So without further ado, let's bring him on.
Hey, Grady.
Oh, he's come back. There we go. How are we doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy. How are you? I'm good, Grady. Thanks for having me.
I'm fantastic. Thanks for being had. So let me give you a proper intro and we'll kick it over to you, my man. All right. Hello, everybody. Grady Paulson, the American Agency Beyond Excited. Gus Elrod with us today. What's crazy about this business is as the way the big ball of water and dirt keeps spinning, we keep finding new ways to grow this company, this business, and interact with incredible people. Gus will share his story. We connected a few years ago, took a mild sabbatical, came back home, and now he's breaking records. And I couldn't be prouder of what he's done in the short term and what I see in someone like him and what he's going to do in the long term. But in the first 4 months in this company with us, he's issued paid over $170,000. Which is just an incredible testament to his business acumen, his work ethic, his investment in the company, and his desire to help clients. So I would tell you that to take notes. I would tell you to lean in. I hope you're already doing it. I hope you're already here. But without further ado, I'd love to pass it over to you, Gus, and share with us a little bit on how you're doing and what you're excited about here. So going forward here now into 2026.
Yeah, you got it. And thanks again, Grady. And I'll say, you got me pumped. I'm definitely excited for convention. You're so good. You got your next door neighbor pumped. They want to go. They're knocking on your wall, right? But, it's a pleasure to be here. To be honest with you, I've watched hundreds of hours of these training videos, and that's what's helped me to really learn to do what I do. And I attribute just to you creating a forum, an opportunity for us to listen and learn. Just quick background about kind of how I got connected to FFL. I'd been in the contact center world, the call center world for over 20 years, advanced to like senior executive positions. I ran global operations, made a good living, 6-figure income. but I wanted something different. The culture is really toxic there. They don't really care much about their people, and it's just the environment was not ideal for kind of the growth in my values. And I can't even tell you how I came across one of your videos, but I came across one of your training videos on YouTube, and I watched it, and I found myself watching another one, and I said, this cannot be real. I'm seeing people talking about 20, 30, 40,000 a month. And this was back in late 2020. And so I watched videos for months, and I said, you know what, let me see if this is real. Got my license, and then I started late 2021, and we were doing in-person then. Was doing in-person, did the whole dialing, set appointments here locally in Texas, and was killing it. The first week did like 8,000. I said, man, this is legit. Second week did like 18,000, just started rolling. But COVID hit and kind of pivoted to telesales, and I struggled. So my story that I'm gonna share with everybody is not like it's just been all rainbows, you know, since you started. I had some struggles, and so I wasn't successful in telesales when it began, and so I just did it part-time and went back into the call center world for years. And I kept my license active, just working a little part-time, and then last year I said, you know what, I gotta make a run at this and go full force, and reach back out to you, Grady, individually, and say, hey, let's do this. And what I've done really is I've leveraged the people, and my advice to folks is this company is built off of a lot of top producers. They have knowledge, they have experience. And what I did differently this time is I just simply listened. I listened to a lot of videos. I reach out, try and connect with top producers, ask them questions, and just stay connected. And by doing so, it's helped me to kind of form a different mentality, to really approach things differently. And so when I went full force at it starting in August, success has just been a whole different level. You know, for me, what's made the biggest impact is just the mental shift, right? What we do, it's not easy, but it's simple. It's very process oriented. So you have to really structure yourself and have the right mindset that there's ups and downs. And before, I would kind of struggle with the down part, and then I'd spiral out. When my mental shift changed was understanding no matter the activity, as long as I'm doing productive work, dialing, setting appointments, even if they no-show me, even if I do a sit and I don't make a sell, if I'm averaging all that out based on my activity, I'm doing the activity, when the pay comes, you're making money no matter what you're doing. So then you appreciate the no-show. Okay, no-show, I got paid, I'm moving on. So if you have the mentality of just doing the work, it's all about being productive. And so if you approach it that way, it's gonna be different. You can ride the tides. Like last week, I didn't have a good week. I only did 5,500 last week, but I rode that through. This week, I'm already at almost 18 grand. So it's just a matter of keeping in that rhythm, right? And just understand it's the wave, it's how it goes.
I love it, dude. I love it. So great open, great intro, great start. I love finding gentlemen like yourself, right? Seasoned career guys. We've had a lot of high quality people that have come into our world. I talk to coach agents, and I go, if you're trying to build a team, you got to understand the best people are already doing something, right? We can always find someone that's got no job that we can buy leads for, pay for their license, etc. You know, throw them cash to pay for rent, gas, etc. You know, they're everywhere. But you want a high quality person who's already producing at a high level, making income at a high level. Then what you've got to do is got to present to them what is possible here. And, you know, and then they do a Ben Franklin close. It's a T-square, and they go options to stay if I stay here, and options if I leave. And they write down the benefits. And Gus made the decision that the benefits for his family would be better if he, you know, got insurance, came back to insurance, and now, you know, I'm sure the boss is happy, as the boss is happy. So I love it, dude. But that is where is whom you are. And so to see you come in, I mean, I remember our conversation. I was in the airport, and I hadn't talked to you in years, and you called, and we started talking. And my wife's like, "Are we going to sit down and eat?" And I was like, "Hold on, I used to really like this guy." And then you know, life happens. It's okay, right? Life happens. You know, you don't do ever, guys. You never burn a bridge, right? Because you never know when you have to walk back over it. That's the way things are. Like things aren't the way they ought to be. They're just the way they are. And if we can understand that, you know, people come into our life, and if we continue to stay positive, and we continue to stay good examples, that, you know, incredibly, we might be reattracted back into our lives down the road. I could be happy to be reworking with you again. So, but let's talk about how you came in here and got going so fast, right? I mean, regardless of, your background and sales experience and had dabbled in insurance before, 170,000 issue pay in 4 months is not something to sneeze at, right? This isn't normal. This is accelerated production. So give us kind of, let's just dig into it, right? What is your setup? What is your lead flow expense? What is your timeline? What are your minimums you got to hit in a week? What are your maximums? Kind of let's dig into that stuff, like specifics, because we got almost 200 people on here that want some specifics, right? Drop in the chat below drop a chat yes if you want some specifics about what Gus is doing that you then can implement, because that's what I was always looking for. Like, what do you specifically do? Because I'm floating through this deal. I'm floating through life right now. And I would just need, I shouldn't have a choice at what I do in my life because I don't know, right? Otherwise I already have the success I want. So I copied Andrew. I copied other elite producers. I just did what they did. I didn't think. That's the problem. We get a lot of broke people that come in here and just think and like, well, what about this? And what about this? And I think it should be this way. Well, what gives you the right to think that? Well, I saw it one time on a YouTube video and they do it this way over. And I'm like, stop thinking, just copy the ones that are doing it here successfully. So now, Gus, what's crazy is you're the original, right? You're the one we're making copies of, right? That's a fascinating thing to do, that you've done that in a short period of time. So give these guys, what, 2 yeses? That's all I get out of you guys? I got Orlando, Quentin, Michelle. I can't get more yeses? Come on, give me some yeses in the chat below. But give us a blueprint. Give us some stuff to follow. We can set our day, our week, our month up with goals.
Got it. So you said something right now I want to key on real quick. It's funny. So when I had first started back in the day, I tried to reinvent the wheel. I listened to the scripts. I heard people. I was like, cool, let me do my own thing. And I've spent hours doing different scripts and just in non-productive work because I said, I'm going to do it better, right? This time around, what I recognized, I said, and in our phone call, if you remember, I said, Grady, you have the blueprint. Show me how to do exactly what you have done. I will follow it 100%. So my commitment to myself was just that. I follow your advice to a T, from making the thank you cards to the business cards to the follow-up and so on. And what I've leveraged is our team. And so here in a minute, we'll kind of go through the script, my word tracks, what I say, but I 100% leverage the success of other people. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. So I'm taking pieces of each top producer, what they say. And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. And I just piece it together and make my own kind of flow. Okay. What I've done coming in is I followed your lead. I followed what other people are saying. So when I first started, and everybody, I buy the same leads that everybody else can. The ILC, go on there. I love the ethos leads. That's where I really started hitting at. Off of ethos leads, my September, I did 93,000 issue paid. 100% ethos fresh leads. I spent under $4,000 that month. And so I've transitioned to working towards, I just use IUL leads. I have a social media campaign running, and I'm still only spending under $1,000 per week just on the leads. Now there's other operational costs like my CRM costs and the management team, but all in, that's still under 5,000 each month. So what I've done is just leverage what's working for others. And then I just try and keep something that is me, but I'm using pieces of everybody else's kind of word tracks, right? Some advice that I'll share that's been successful for me is I just keep my conversation structured. This is just talking to people, right? I'm not trying to sell anybody. So get that out of your mind that you're trying to sell and convince them, because we're not. We're serving somebody, right? I'm simply helping a client solve a need, provide a solution that helps their family. But you really have to find out that client's need in your dialogue. What's going on with them? Ask the questions. Don't be afraid. And when you interact with your client, you need to take control of that call, right? Your tone, your pace. I'm the professional. You ask for information. I'm the one delivering it to you. And based on my dialogue, I'm following a very scripted approach to uncover their need, right? One thing that was impactful for me that helped me turn the corner with the IULs, ethos lead, that's just a general lead that they started a quote online, and we now get to connect with them, right? But I'm not just targeting, assuming it's a final expense or life insurance lead. I'm asking questions. And so as I'm asking questions, as a prime example, don't silo yourself thinking this is a final expense lead. And I'm only going to talk about final expense. This is a mortgage protection. I'm only going to talk about that. Ask all the questions. fill out the entire financial worksheet, do all the history, all the health, all their background, what their finances are like. You'll uncover extra things. So like one of my largest IOLs, it was an ethos lead. The gentleman wanted to get life insurance for his daughter. We went through a few meetings. She was uninsurable. She's young with a lot of health conditions. He could only do some, accidental death benefits. He didn't want it. I pivoted asking him questions about him. That turned into, a $60,000 IUL. So it's just asking the questions. So, assert yourself, be professional, take control, but ask the questions. So they're uncomfortable questions, right? You're going to talk about health and finances, but you position it properly. Like, this is what we're going to do. I'm walking you through the story of how we're going to engage, what we're going to do. And ultimately it's because I'm going to help you. Okay. So in the first part, that's what you really have to do is just, be specific and intentional with what you're doing with them. Okay. And again, don't limit yourself to the lead type, because then you're really going to limit the options. And when I first started, I did that. Oh, it's a final expense lead. I'm just talking to a final expense, right? A burial plan. Don't do that. You start uncovering other things, right? So I think that's what's critical. For success, one thing that I would highlight for my agents and for anybody else barely starting, or even people that are seasoned, like, it's important to be connected. I can't express enough the value of attending these type of meetings. Whenever there's a meeting, we have meetings all throughout the week, right? Attend them, because you're hearing success from other people. All you need to do is mimic what they're doing. Literally follow their blueprint. Then you kind of adopt it and make it your own, customize it to your own, but it's the same structure. Okay. There's huge value in hearing top producers of what they're doing. All right. Like here in a minute, as we go through my script, so all the top producers have been on these calls in the prior weeks and months. This is kind of, an acknowledgement of your work, because I adopted some of that into what I do, and it's highly successful. So it's important, again, that mental shift, right? Track your metrics, track how much you're calling, how many dollars you're putting, set some goals for yourself. Don't be outlandish and say, I'm gonna make 100 grand this month if you've only done 10,000. Give yourself small goals to get there, but make it actionable about how you're gonna achieve it. How many dials in a day, right? How many appointments you need to set, how many sits you need to take in order to actually have, X% of close ratio. Have some targets for yourself, right? Track it and hold yourself accountable. The big part to what we do is we're essentially by ourselves, right? But stay connected. Log on to any dial sessions, be with people, right? Connect, have a partner that you can talk to about how you're doing, what's going on, and be competitive, not only with your peers, but with yourself, so that you're trying to achieve certain goals. If you're just out there, just kind of, swaying in the wind, how do you know where you're going to hit, right? So you have to set some target goals, and you do that by setting specific measurable steps. Okay. So it's important that you really set all that for yourself, because it's really going to set you up for success. Okay. But in terms of leads, again, right now I'm predominantly working IUL campaign leads that are targeting like truckers, contractors, you name it, right? What has helped me be successful is I continue to add states, get additional licenses. So when you first start, obviously you're going to have your home resident state. That's important, right? That's your starting point. That can't be your end point. As you start getting commission, you guys have to reinvest in your business, because this is a business for all of us, right? You have to reinvest. And so just be accustomed. As you get a commission, before you pay yourself, get a little piece, go get another license. Because if we are working virtually remote, the more states you have, the more opportunity you are to talk to people. When you advance and start doing your own social media campaigns or whatnot, now that net is cast much broader, right? So now I have a bigger demographic that I can actually get in front of. And it gives me an opportunity to work, earlier hours and later hours. So you can adjust your schedule, put in more dialing hours. But these are all recommendations that I received from other top producers. Okay. So over time, I just kept advancing. Right now, I'm like at 24 states. But when I first started, I was at 1, right? But you got to keep adding them little by little. All right. But even though I'm getting IUL leads, I'm not always just selling IUL. Like this morning, you have to pivot. The gentleman didn't have a budget, just had a stroke in 2024, had some hardships going on. And I explained the value of this is what you could afford today. And we got him, accidental coverage as a stage 1. And then I'm going to connect with him down the road. And when he frees up and has a bigger budget, maybe get him some guaranteed acceptance types of policy or whatnot. But the point is, I uncovered all that need. I have another one that I went through. I have annuity opportunity just from asking the questions. So just keep on asking the questions, you'll find things. But every one of my scripts, regardless of the lead type that I'm calling, the basic structure and body of it is the same. The introduction and maybe the content of the policy or the product may be a little different, but when I'm finding out their need, all of that is the same. So, I mean, we can go through that if you like, Grady, to kind of explain
That was
what that sounds
fantastic.
like.
That was all great. That was excellent. I would more only thing I would watch for clarifying of specifics. So ballpark or specific park, what is your weekly lead spend right now? And
Okay.
question two, what is your schedule? Like, what is the schedule of a elite 40K plus producer? Hugh.
Yeah. So right now my lead spend is set to $700 per week, but I just increased it to 1,000. All right.
Okay.
And that's yielding me. It just depends. When I've added more states, on average, maybe 30, 40 leads a week. Some weeks I've had 50, others I've had 20. It does fluctuate a little bit. My average lead cost is roughly about $14, $15 per lead. Okay. I am running an average of about 20 appointments on my schedule. Now, granted, a lot of these also I'm leveraging CRM that does a lot of automation and really AI tries to book them. A lot of them are self-booked, but I have a very high no-show rate because most people do not live off of a calendar like we do, right? They'll book an appointment, say, yep, Tuesday at 9 a.m. sounds good. And they go about their day. So most of them, they're no-show, but I just continue to follow up and drip on them, right? And call and call and call. I'm working 6 days a week, but I'm not working from like 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. I have a family, I have kids, so take them to school, pick them up, and so on. Have some activities, soccer practice, and whatnot. But I'm working the norm, like 8 to 8 maybe on certain days, and others it may be 9 to 6. But what I'm doing is I'm adjusting my schedule. I'll have to be creative in this too. For example, if I'm just calling trucker IULs, well, they're truckers, they're on the road, right? They work different schedules. Or if I'm reaching out to contractors, well, obviously 9 to 5, they're working, right? So I have to kind of adjust. So I'm going to try and hit them before work. Maybe I connect during their day because they think I'm a customer, but then I schedule an appointment later. So I'm just adjusting. But I will say your weekend hours, they're gold. Why? Because most people are off. You have to connect, but you have to be flexible too to really book an appointment and to be available for them. Okay. So I'm not working 80 hours a week, crazy hours, but what I do is I'm very flexible. So I have block times, right? Block times to recruit, block times to help my agents, block time for me to dial and talk to clients. But my target goal, good 20 appointments per week. On average, I'll sit with maybe 10, and then on a good week, and then I'll get a good 7, 8 sales in that week. Some weeks it's less, maybe it's 15 appointments, and I'm only selling 4 or 5. But what I'm doing in my IUL discussion is I'm finding out their need. Why did they reach out? Once I uncover that, now I'm going to try and structure and customize it for their goals, right? I'm not trying to go on the top end. I want to make sure I find something affordable today, tomorrow, and down the road, and to show them a vehicle to add more money to it. And because I've already uncovered the heart of what they need, it helps me to then solidify that sell and to push them through. But that's the metrics I measure. Again, per month on average, maybe 4,500 on the top end for lead spend. And I'm increasing that as I'm getting more states. I want to increase that because I want my schedule more booked. But it just I have to grow. I'm hiring an admin here in the process to assist me with a lot of things. So once that frees me up, now I can just really grind it out and serve more clients.
So an understanding for the new agents, anyone that's watching this, is that like Gus is in flow state, meaning, now granted, it's not chaotic, it's not scattered, it's not stressed. I have ascended to a level where I have ads working, coming to my CRM. It's starting a conversation with the lead that comes in as soon as it comes in and pushing the book. But at the same time, I'm calling the 30 or 40 leads, which is very easy and manageable, as they come in as well to try to double my efficiency. That is an ideal goal for all of us, for all you producers. And then here's a starting point. I have no leads. I'm calling old family members and hoping that they want me to do a review. Then the next step is I'm buying a batch of old age leads for $200, trying to get 50-cent leads and calling them as much as humanly possible and trying to reignite an interest. And then up to buying newer leads and calling them, up until buying reoccurring leads, right? So if we come all the way back here, like, guys, to understand, as a new agent, it's not supposed to be this easy for you, because Gus has been along all of these steps along the way, from buying one-off batches of ethos leads and hammering them from his cell phone to make enough money, gain enough skills, gain enough confidence to have a dream to get to this level. This is everyone's goal. This has to become your goal. The chaotic, scatterbrained, buy a batch of leads and hammer them as much as possible, 3, 6, 9 dials in a day, is a fine approach, but it is a unpredictable approach. Having running ads, having someone running campaigns for you is your goal of a $40, $60, $80,000 a month producer. This is my goal for everybody to get here. However, this isn't a bad place to be. As you heard, he wrote 90 grand in his second month, third month off of one-off batch leads. So everything is possible here. But if you're stressed right now, if you're uncomfortable, if you feel tired and overworked, understand that the definition and the refinement of your skills, your ability to communicate with the clients and to make them feel comfortable and catch them off guard, and they go, "Who is this?" And you go, hey man, don't bite me, I'm just calling you back. You sent a request to my office, looks like you put down you love underwater basket weaving, your wife's Mary, and you live in Tallahassee. I'm just calling you back, brother. And you can tone them down. Can you do that yet? You know how you learn how to do that? You dial more and have more experience than sit around other top producers and hear how they do it too. But you can't expect yourself to learn how to do it, and you can't ever learn it if you quit. That's the big thing, guys. You've got to pay the price of it. You've got to pay the price to get to this level that we all ascend to be at, where we've got 20 appointments coming in autopilot. Yeah, 10 don't show. I meet with 10. I meet with the other 10 and close 7 and write 18,000. Asterisks is everywhere. This isn't guaranteed. There's no promises. This all definition of your skills and ability to communicate. But heck, man, Gus would say I'm a normal dude who's just working hard, wants to make my wife and babies proud, and help teach some people along the way. That's what we all are. We're a bunch of imperfect people trying to help other imperfect people. So hope that helps. But dude, it's a cool place to be up here, right? It's a cool place to be, and it's a cool place to be here. But then you go, all right, I'm in my third month, and I'm still, stressed. What lead should I buy now? And you're kind of scattered. Set a goal to get here, guys. Set a goal to get here. Okay, it's a great place to be. So let's jump into the meat and potatoes. The words. All right. And so here's what we're going to do, guys. Gus is going to run through. I usually don't role play just because I kind of botch it and make it turn into a comedy show, which I don't want it to be. I'm still a child inside, but and outside. Say my Mexican skin. No, I'm joking. But so I'd love for you to dig into your script, Gus. And this is, guys, if you've been on this long, don't leave yet, because this is what he says. Specifically, what he says to get the clients from leads to clients, and how he makes them comfortable, and what he says, how he takes control, etc. So I'm gonna pass it over to you, brother. I'm stoked for this.
Yeah. So I'll start off by saying this. So you all understand, when you have a lower budget, you're going to buy more age leads, right? Because you get more. But you need to start that rhythm so that you can build up that resiliency to accept the objections, and to build up the behavior muscle to be able to dial and call and have that structure and to practice your initial pitch. You have to go through that part, because that develops the strength for you then to, okay, now I understand how to ask the questions. We all go through that stage. Now, who doesn't want it easy, right? But even when I'm getting these IUL leads, they're not lay down sales. They're telling me, I never did that. Listen, I'm not a telemarketer. I'm not a sales guy calling. You actually fill out this form. Your name is this. Your date of birth is this. Your age is this. You live here. It's like, I still have to validate and acknowledge and move forward. So the point is, the only way that I've learned to do that is I dialed the aged 1-year-old final expense leads and made $2,000 in a day and got called every name in the book and wanted to quit over and over and over. But you have to go through that so that as you get more confident understanding the product, understand how to talk to people, then I realized this is just a conversation. And I'm not going to beat it up. If somebody is rude and curses me out, listen, I'm a rebuttal, acknowledge, try and get them back in it, but I'm not going to keep fighting them. I want to keep my sanity, Okay, well, you know what? Here's my card. Here's my contact number. If you remember and you ever want to look into it, I'm here to help you. You have a good day. Good luck. Disposition, move on, right? So just weather that storm. Don't give up. Keep going. But the word tracks I'm going to share with you right now, you can adjust those slightly to whatever type of lead you're calling. Okay. The heart of this is all the same. So I'll start from the beginning, from the top with you, Grady, and we'll kind of roll through. Okay. So, hi, Grady. This is Gustin calling. Hey, I was calling you because you requested information on an IUL. You know, that's a type of life insurance that you could build a tax-free retirement and also, you know, borrow from. And, you know, also can protect your family in case you die or if you get sick. You had saw a post on social media and you filled out a form requesting more information. Um, can you tell me what was it about the IUL that really interests you? Whatever they come back with, I'm going to key in on that, right? So if it's like, um, you know, I wanted money for my business or tax-free retirement or protect my family, whatever it is, I key in on that. That's where I'm gonna lead from. And then just to kind of take control, I'll say, so, well, real quick, let me verify the information that you submitted just to make sure we're on the same page. So I verify their, whatever I have on them, date, date of birth, their age, email address, because what I'm trying to do is I want to get them in saying yes, 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 right? We're now in a positive mode. And as I get to that, I say, okay. And so I see you are, like with these IULs, it's telling me what they are. Truck driver, contractor. All right, so I see that you're a contractor. Tell me about your business. I see your business name is such and such. How long you been doing that? Getting some history, understanding what they're doing, right? All right, how long you been doing that? All right, perfect, great. Understanding kind of what they want to leverage this for. Okay. Now, tell me specifically, what did you want the IUL to do for you? Don't tell me what it is, right? All right, perfect. Well, you know, before we kind of get things kicked off, Grady, why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself? You have a family that depends on you. Now they're opening up about their family. They're married. You have kids. Great. How many kids you have? How old are they? Okay. How long have you been married? Because I'm just trying to now, let's be a real person, but I want to understand like who depends on them, right? Okay, perfect. They give me their history. All right. Well, so the call's pretty basic. I'm going to ask you a few questions just to get an understanding of like where you currently stand to help me kind of structure what this will look like for you. Is that okay? They'll give me what a response. Then I start keying in on. So Grady, tell me, if you became sick or disabled and you're unable to work, what does that look like for you and your family? And sometimes they'll say, not good. Okay, not good. Okay, well, what does that look like to you? Explain. And if they're not giving you details, keep pushing on that because I want them to say, you know what? My family may have to move out of this house. They may have to go live with their family. They may have to, I don't know. I have no idea. My wife would have to work because I'm the sole provider. We don't have savings, or if you don't have savings, they can survive for a little while. Okay, perfect. How long? How long before their lifestyle has to change? Because I want them to really understand I have 3 months of savings left, and then what? Then I don't know. Okay, I got it. Now I see why you're looking at this. Okay. So on the worst end, God forbid you passed away tomorrow. What's that look like? What happens to your family? How long before your family has to move? How long before, and then just let them kind of fill in. And I keep pushing, right? Because this is where, in my mind, they're having to sell me as to why I'm going to help them, right? If I'm just glancing over this part and I start talking about the IUL benefits and so on, and then talking about budget, why are they going to do it? So as I'm keying in on this, I want to hear their pain. Okay, I got it. Now that makes sense. Okay, I understand why you reached out, and I'm here to help you. Okay. Now, you've been in business for X number of years. How long have you been working overall? 27 years. Perfect. Okay, great. So in those 27 years, can you tell me how much have you actually saved for retirement? Whatever the response. Oh, nothing, a little something. Okay, okay, got it. Okay. Well, so tell me, if you continue doing what you've been doing, like what's that look like for your retirement? Are you going to work until you're 75 or what's that look like? And whatever the response is, sometimes they will, most of the time, I'm going to work until I can't work anymore. Sure, I get that. We're all going to do it. As long as you love what you're doing, perfect, keep doing it. But there may come a point, maybe you physically can't do it, right? So based on where you're currently at, you're kind of behind. Wouldn't you agree? So we need to do something differently, right? Perfect. Well, I got you. Just so you know, I'm here to help you. My target goal is to help you achieve your goals. Okay. So we're going to build up some type of retirement for you. It's tax free. And then also to help you leverage some money to help your business. Okay. and then I'm feeding it out of what they say to me. Okay. So I kind of set the stage. So just so you know, the call is really pretty basic, maybe another 10, 12 minutes, just depends on, any questions you have or what that looks like. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the full details about how an IUL works. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you some questions to help me determine how I can structure it for you. And then towards the end of the call, if we have some time, I'm actually going to review some real numbers with you to illustrate how this would look like in your situation. Okay. And I can even share my screen to your phone. That way you can actually see the numbers. All right. How does that sound? Perfect. Okay. Well, Grady, first, let me tell you a little bit about myself before we kind of get things kicked off. Okay. Now, I am what's known as an independent broker. Okay. And, I'm contracted with over 30 different A+ rated insurance carriers. All right. What that means essentially is I don't work for any one company, but I have access to all of them. Okay. What I do is I try and shop around the various options available to you. And I do all the shopping, hit all the carriers, because what I'm looking for is to get the right match for you. The carrier that's going to offer you the most amount of coverage and most benefits at the lowest rate to maximize your money to really help grow that cash value accumulation account. Okay. Now, I'm about to send you my digital business card. Okay. This is just so you can kind of see who you're doing business with. It's got a picture of an ugly mug on there, so don't hold that against me. But that's more so that you can kind of, put a face to the voice. Okay. Now, more importantly, on my card, it's got my credentials on there. Okay. Now, this is a regulated industry, and we do need to be licensed by law in order to operate. So on that card, you'll see my NPN, my national producer number. All right. And I just sent that to you in text. Now, that number that's on that card as well, that's my personal number. That's the same number I call my wife on, same number my kids text me on. That's my personal number. So save that, okay? I want you to keep that because I'm your guy. So go on your phone afterwards and say, my insurance guy, and save it, Gustin. That's my number, okay? You got it? And they confirm, perfect, okay. So Grady, let's kind of dive right in. All right, so an IUL is an investment grade life insurance policy, okay? Now, an IUL is a special option you have to qualify for. So here in a minute, I'm going to go through some health and financial questions just to determine if you can qualify, okay? But first, Grady, tell me, how much do you know about how an IUL works? And I kind of let them, flow. Some know a lot, and that tells me they've been researching. So they tell me a lot. Perfect. I see you put some thought into this. How long have you been looking into them? Because now I understand the timeline. I've been doing it about the last year. What stopped you? Help me understand why you've not taken action. Or if like, I don't know anything. Okay, perfect. So if you don't mind, I'm going to start from top to bottom just to ensure you fully understand how an IUL works. Is that okay? Perfect. So along the way, just trying to get them to say yes as you're going through, right? And be mindful, low and slow. Speak intentionally. I'm not, super hyper, super friendly. I don't want to sound telemarketing-ish, right? So just control and but flow, okay? So then I'll get back in. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is an investment grade life insurance policy, okay? It's not just an investment. Now, the reason I point that out, because if it were just an investment, then the IRS could tax it, okay? Now, with an IUL, if you're approved, you're going to get three main benefits, okay? The first one is if you are approved, okay, and you pay that first payment, let's say, God forbid, you pass away the next day, well, your family is going to get a substantial death benefit, okay? Tax-free, so that'll protect your family, right? So there's no replacing you when you pass away, but at least your last expression to your family is, I'm going to help you financially, take care of you while I'm gone, okay? The second thing, if you qualify, it comes with living benefits. So here's what that means. So in the event, let's say you get hurt or sick, become disabled, unable to work, right? You can actually tap into that death benefit money, okay, while you're alive. And use that to pay anything you need, like medical bills, pay off your mortgage, whatever you like. So God forbid you come down with cancer, stroke, a heart attack, or maybe you're going to the local HEB and a drunk driver hits you and now you're disabled, you can't work, right? So you could tap into that money so it takes care of you while you're alive. Okay, but the third thing it does for you is it builds cash value accumulation. So each month you're making that premium payment, a part of that goes into a savings account called your cash value accumulation account. That account compounds and earns interest. The average rate is anywhere between 8 to 12%. Okay, so here's really how it works. Since this is a type of life insurance, right? You make a payment every single month, just like your car insurance, homeowners insurance, whatnot, right? However, the way it works is that a portion of that money is allocated to the cost of the insurance. So that's what gives you the death benefit and the living benefit. And that ultimately makes a life insurance policy, right? And because of that, that's what prevents the IRS from taxing you when you want to withdraw money. Okay. Does that make sense so far? Perfect. Okay. Now, Grady, do you know what a 401k is, or have you ever invested in one before, or like an IRA? All right. And they say yes, no, what have you. I'll tell them, okay, well, as you know, like a 401k, that money is invested in the stock market, right? Or like a mutual fund portfolio. So when the stock market goes up, you make money, right? But what happens when the stock market goes down? And I stay quiet. I want to make sure that they're listening, they're engaged. And if they don't answer, so Grady, again, if the stock market drops and you have money in the stock market, what happens to your money? Well, you lose money, right? That's right. Now, with an IUL, it's not exactly that way. Okay. So you do participate if the stock market goes up and you get a really good interest rate. Okay. But when the stock market goes down, okay, you have a guarantee that you're not going to lose any money. All right. Now, with a typical retirement account like a 401k, okay, when the stock market drops, you lose not only the interest that you've earned, but you potentially lose the money that you contributed, your hard-earned dollars. You lose that as well. Okay. But with an IUL, when the market drops, you may earn a lower interest rate, maybe even a 0% interest rate some years, right? However, you are guaranteed to never lose money if the stock market drops. Okay. Does that make sense? Get the response. Perfect. Okay. So the whole purpose is what? Not losing money, right? The market's the same thing in both scenarios with the IUL and the 401k. The difference is with the IUL, you never lose money. Okay. So that's how the money and the interest is applied. All right. The money will grow tax deferred. And when you want to withdraw it, you can withdraw it tax free. Okay. Now, and I ask them if they have a 401k, then I key in, okay, have you ever taken any money out of your 401k before? And depending upon their age, if they're under 59 and a half, have you taken money out? Well, yeah. Okay. So then you got hit with the penalty, right? And then they tax you on that money. So with an IUL, it's not like that. And like with a 401k, you have to have a qualifying event to pull money out, right? Or you're penalized and you're taxed on it. With an IUL, it's not the case. As long as you build up cash value accumulation, you can leverage that money and borrow it, use it as you need. Okay. So it's much different. Now, Grady, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the financial health questions with you, just so I can determine if you can qualify for a product like this. All right. Really simple. The insurance carrier is going to qualify you by two methods. They qualify you by health and financially. So what does that mean? Well, when they qualify you by health, what they're simply going to do is look at your medical records, okay, your MIB report, not your Men in Black report, but your Medical Information Bureau report. So anytime you've seen a doctor, anytime you've been prescribed medication, that's logged in the database. They're just simply going to look at that, okay? Now, when they qualify you financially, doesn't mean they're going to do credit checks or anything like that. But they want to make sure you're a legitimate person, make sure there's no money laundering, no financial red flags, nothing like that. So you simply have to have a checking or savings account in your name tied to your information to make sure that they can verify you, okay? I don't need the information right now. I'm just letting you know later on when we try to get you covered and we apply, that's what the carrier is going to ask for, okay? It's important I set that stage because I don't want them later on saying, oh, I don't have a checking account. All right, like it's already in their face. This is what we're going to need down the road. I don't need it now, but so you know, okay? And then when I transition over, okay, well, let's knock out the health and the financial questions really quick, okay? And I go through the date of birth, your smoker, height, weight, how tall are you? All right. And then on a good day, how much do you weigh? Like that's gold. The whole point is I got to get some chuckles while I'm doing this, right? So I insert the little things, about my picture and, the MIB, like just get them, break the ice, make them feel a little more calm and relaxed and they're engaged with you, right? Then I ask about the prescription medications and then, just a couple yes, no questions. I go through any heart attacks, cancer, strokes, congestive heart failure, pacemaker, heart stents, any high blood pressure, any diabetes, neuropathy, any dementia, Alzheimer's, ALS, any cancer, asthma, COPD, any issues with your liver, kidneys, or thyroid, or any other medical conditions. Gives me the baseline of their health. Okay. And I've already established that they're married, they have kids. Okay. So now let's transition over to your financial questions. Okay. So, Grady, on your typical month, what is your income? Okay. Let them go through that. Perfect. And then how much do you save each month? Okay. And then after all your bills are said and done with, what do you have left with at the end of the month? Perfect. That's the budget we're working on. So if they're saving $500 a month already, perfect. Okay, you mentioned you're saving $500 a month. Where are you saving that? You putting in like your savings account at the bank, or you old school? You put it on their mattress at home. Like, where do you put that money? I want them to tell me, oh no, I keep it safe at home. Okay, or I put in a savings account. Okay, gotcha. So what would you estimate your current balance is right now in the savings account or in your safe? Oh, I'm not sure. I just give me a best guess. 25,000. Okay, perfect. Got it. All right. And are you currently contributing to any retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs? You purchase any stocks, bonds, anything at all? And if they do, okay, tell me more about that. Want to hear balances. What do you estimate the balance is today? So if they have certain accounts now, as I get those balances, I want to start diving a little bit more. Okay. So what life insurance do you currently have in place that you own? That's important because like, oh, I have work coverage. Perfect. That's great supplemental. But like when you leave work, just like any other benefit, that goes away, right? So if you have supplemental from work, perfect. But you definitely need something you own and you control. All right. And now what else do you have in place that acts like life insurance that you would leave to loved ones when you pass away? That's what I'm trying to uncover now. Do they have anything that is there potential for advanced markets like, annuities and so on? So I start getting a little bit more information, right? And that's something brand new that I'm inserting here because that's my next level to really start advancing doing annuities, right? And the sad part is I have hundreds of clients over the years, right? And I've asked that question, what do you have? Great. And I've never done anything with it. I just didn't know what to do, right? So now I'm intentional in asking the question, and then I'm scheduling a follow-up appointment. So, and then I tell them if they have money, perfect. If I can show you a solution to help you never lose money over the rest of your life and earn high earnings, would you be open to learning more? Yes, perfect. Boop. That's an annuity call later on, right? And then I ask, do you currently own your home or do you rent? Okay, and if they own, perfect. What's your current mortgage balance? All right, and then I get their monthly payment. How was it a 30-year? And how long you been in the home? What's the current value? So I have the assets. I understand. The point of getting the mortgage is now I understand. Okay, here's the minimal that I want to cover for them. If they don't have any coverage, they have a $250,000 mortgage. I want to protect that, so the family always will have a home. Right? That's my starting spot. Okay. And then last question for them. Do you have any crazy stories to share with me in the last 10 years? Any DWIs, DUIs, felonies, any bar fights, running from the police, anything wild? You get a little chuckle from, oh no, I don't do anything. Or, hey, yeah, 25 years ago, you hear some wild stories, right? But you're connecting. It's real talk, right? And so based on what they share with me, like I had another guy earlier this morning. He had a felony. Was on probation. It got off in 2024. So while I'm talking to him, I'm looking at my kind of underwriting cheat sheets and identifying where I can go with an IUL. If they can't qualify, I'm worried, right? Based on health or background, whatever it is, I give the disclaimer. So Grady, I got to tell you, just being transparent with your medical conditions, blah, 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 whatever they are, or based on your background, felony conviction on this, da, 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 it's going to be kind of difficult to get you approved for an IUL, but I'm going to do everything I can to help you qualify. Okay. Now, luckily, I have access to a lot of other products very similar to an IUL. So regardless, I'm definitely going to be able to protect you and your family and get something in place for you today. Okay.
Boom.
And now I pivot into their budget. Okay. Earlier on, I'll try and pinpoint, like, is your budget 200 or less or 300 or more per month? And I key in on what they asked: retirement, cash value to borrow from for their business, or to protect their family, right? So I got that kind of initial starting spot. So now
300 or more. If you're here, that's a good line. That's a good line. Keep going.
It kind of sets the stage, right? To where are you at, so I can understand kind of their level, right? And guys, just real quick, everything I've just shared with you, these are all pieces I've gathered from other top people and just kind of meshed them together. So acknowledgement to all you, the others that have come before me. Thank you for sharing. And then I get into kind of, let me really narrow it down to get a real number. Okay. So Grady, now I want to focus on the excess money that you can set aside each month. I'm going to help show you how we can maximize and grow it as much as possible. Okay. So I want you to think about your monthly budget. Okay. Now, on those months when everything seems to be going wrong, right? You have unexpected bills popping up, got to buy a new set of tires in the car, water heater goes out, you got to have these unexpected bills will pop up. Okay. What would be the minimal amount that you would see yourself setting aside and either growing for your retirement, growing for your cash value accumulation you can borrow from and help your business, or protecting your family? It's one of those, right? I get their answer. Perfect. Okay. Now on the flip side, let's say it's a month, everything's going right. And if you really push yourself, knowing the more you put in, the more you're going to get out of this. How much would you be able to set aside and grow for, retirement, whatever? I get their response. Perfect. Okay. So let's dive into a little bit more, right? Can't predict the future, right? But I want to look at the last 12 months. So the last 12 months, how many months did you save the low, whatever they come up with? Perfect. Let's say 12 out of 12. All right. How many months did you save the high? 3 out of 12. So if their low was 300, the high was 1,000, right? You'll get some crazy ranges. I'm going to go with what I know they've already done consistently. Why? Well, I can push them and make it sound great, but if they don't save that already, then they're potentially going to charge back, right? So what I do is, and I explain to them, perfect. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to show you is just how we can redirect your current strategy, right? So if you're already saving X dollars per month that you share with me, right? Putting that in your safe or on your mattress or savings account, whatever. What I'm going to do is help show you how to maximize that money. Now, if they tell me, yeah, I have it in my savings account or it's in my safe at home, like a guy this morning, I say, let me ask you, Grady, have you ever heard the concept about time value of money? Most people have not. Well, let me explain to you. So you have 25,000 in your safe, right? Good job. You're a saver, and I know you're like me. I have money at home too. I like to see it. I want to touch it, and when I need it, I can grab it, right? But here's the problem. Over time, cost of goods changes, right? On a good year, our government says when the inflation is 3%, ooh, we're doing good, right? During COVID, after COVID, we saw inflation rise 9 to 10%. What does that mean to us? Well, that means your dollar today is worth X% later. So if our inflation is 3%, that means at the end of the year, that $1 is worth 3% less. So if your money is just sitting in your safe, you're losing money. So if you're already saving 300 per month, instead of losing value, we're just going to redirect it. Instead of your safe, we're going to put it in this and earning 8, 10, 12% or more. Does that make sense? Perfect. Why would they say no, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So awesome. There's really two ways that people fund an IUL. Okay. One might be from the savings somebody has in their safe. You just load it into your IUL. Others might be from an old retirement account, 401k, IRA, something like that. Or maybe a bonus or your income taxes, right? You just dump it in there. Others, it's through monthly payments like we just mentioned right now. Okay. So are you expecting to pay off anything big in the next year or two that would free up more cash that you could put into your IUL? And I'll kind of get those details. Okay, perfect. Now, great. I know we went really quick. Okay. And I got about 12 minutes before my next appointment. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen with your phone. All right. I'm going to send you a text message where you can click on a link. And then once you click the link, you can see my screen. And we're going to go through some real numbers and illustrate how this would look like in your situation. Okay. And then I do the illustration. I use Crank Wheel. For those who don't know what that is, it's a handy tool. 100% using every one of my calls. You go on there and I just text them and it gives them a link and you can share your screen. And then I go through the illustration. Now I'm starting on the low, guys. And as I'm illustrating, I show them the low and I just kind of roll. Here's the benefit. I talk about here's the death benefit. Here's the living benefit. And then here's your accumulation value at X year. Makes sense. Perfect. So now just so you know how the next steps work, Grady, how the approval process works. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to submit a request for coverage to the insurance carrier just to see if you can qualify for coverage. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, there's no doctor's appointments, nothing like that. The carrier is going to qualify you through your health by looking at your MIB report. Okay. And then they're going to qualify and verify your financial information. They don't charge you anything today to see if you qualify. All right. Now, the decision process typically takes 3 to 5 business days. For some clients with exceptional health, we may find out as quickly as today, all right? And if you are approved, you actually get to pick the day you want your coverage to begin, okay? So with that said, what we're going to do next is we're going to submit a request for coverage and see if you can qualify for this, and we'll go from there. Does that sound fair?
Sounds amazing.
Application.
Gus, that was I ask people, I go, hey, let's go through your script. And they'll go through it in like 4 minutes, some 7. No one has ever given me this level of detail. And so everyone, please drop a GE in the chat below to show Gus some gratitude for the absolute specificity that he went through this, because most people don't share this level of detail. And what I would encourage all of you to do when watching on YouTube now, if you are, or whoever's watching live, is go through and watch this and pencil out what he says, the things, and add in and use them as you go through, because this works. Did it feel long because he went through the whole thing? Yes, but that's okay. There's no loss of time builds trust. Marriages, relationships, business, etc. And when you get to the point where you're asking him, what do you have in savings? What do you have in your safe? You can't ask that in the first 90 seconds. But 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 minutes after you've been having a good dialogue, you've built rapport, you've told them who they are, they've seen your website, your business card, a picture of you, etc. You're illustrating the carriers you work with. You start asking these tougher questions. You go from a telemarketer to their broker. Gus makes sure they know he is their broker. And that's what, if I could take anything away from this call, was the deliberate, education, clarification, pushing on the why, pushing on the pain. What would happen? What would happen? Tell me what happened, Bob. If something happened, like really, what would happen? Well, but you have to get a job. Like, I make sure, like, Gus, fantastic. My always final question as we close out this call is, what do you do at the last 30 seconds of the call? And then what do you do the next day, 3, 5, 7, 12, 30 to solidify the sale? Because it's not just about making sales here. It's not how much we make that counts. It's how much we make and keep that counts. And we keep it by making sure they don't talk to the other agents who are going to say, oh, I would never buy from NLG. I would only buy from Bob's IULs of Northern Omaha. And other unscrupulous agents, and then there's us who are the elite agents we're moving for. But what I'm saying is, what do you do to tie it down at the end? And what business processes do you illustrate in order to keep your persistency high? For everybody that's watching, this is as important as all the words he said before are the words he's going to tell you right now in this next few seconds. What do you do?
Yeah, so it's important to do proper follow-up. So after you do the application, perfect. All right, so we got you submitted. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to text you information about the full details of what we've just submitted. I'm also going to email you a copy of your applications you have on a record. Then you also have my contact info. Once I get a response from the insurance carrier, I'm going to reach back out to you and let you know. Now, ideally, we get approved as submitted. Perfect. That means 24 to 72 hours after that, they're going to draft your first payment. Congratulations, you are protected. And then we're going to start rolling into whatever they said they wanted it for. Now, they may come back and say, unfortunately, approved as other, which just simply means your rate class might be a little riskier. So, it may adjust some of the portion that goes towards the insurance, or your cost may change slightly, but we'll have a conversation at that point so you understand. Worst case, if you're declined, don't worry. I'm just going to pivot to option B. Doesn't mean it's any worse anymore. Just a different carrier, different option that we'll look at then, okay? Now, again, save my card. It's important. You have questions, you can reach me. Again, that's my direct cell phone number. I'm going to email you here in a second. If you have any questions, reach out. Then I kind of end. Send the documents, make sure, because that's of high value. They know, okay, this is legit and it's real. But then you have to do the follow-up, right? If you just keep selling and you're not looking at your progress with the carriers, some carriers are instant issue, right? Others, it may take a little bit. You have to do that follow-up and make sure, and then reach out. I also use a drip campaign, so I think it's important. Like my CRM, it does birthdays, it does holidays. It just sends them acknowledgement. And then the other part that I do, that I got from my man Grady Polson, I create thank you cards. So it's got a picture of me and my family, and the verbiage is just thanking them for trusting me. And then on the backside, it's got my agency logo, my contact information, my email, all that on there, and I mail it to every one of my clients. Just so it's real. And I stick some cards in there too, right? But just so it's real for them, like this, I'm a real guy. Here's my family. Here's what I was talking about. And you just keep that up, and then you communicate with them. Like, that is a part. Like, I have over 90% persistency, and it's from that, but it's also because I'm not overselling. I'm not looking at my commission. I'm looking at what do they need? What's their low budget? Because I know they can afford it, right? So that for me is what works. I know that was a long, lengthy script, but I hope that you watch this video again. And guys, what I did, that script is pieces from lots of people. So thank you all to everybody, but hopefully you all can play this video over and over and and write it out, type it out, and then make it your own. Because if you connect, you're professional, you control the dialogue. Remember, it's a structured conversation. They'll reveal things to you, build that trust, and then you close. Okay. Hopefully it helps you all.
Brother, it was fantastic. Final closing question. What is your personal production goal for 2026? And then what is your agency goal for 2026?
Oh man. So my personal production goal is to hit, Hall of Fame this year.
Okay.
Now just looking at cycle, last 4.5 months, I'm at 200,000. So I know I'm on track. If I continue this pace, I'm at 33,000 for the month already. I'll hit it. As an agency, man, I want to set a lofty goal. By this time next year, I want to be at $1 million per month. Seeing folks digging the rock in it, I'm like, man, okay, let's go. So that's my goal. From the help of all you and everybody else, man, we're gonna make it happen. It's exciting.
I love it, man. Dream big dreams. Small dreams have no magic. I learned that early in my life. So, Gus, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Are you coming to convention, Gus?
Absolutely. I'm not gonna miss that. Me and my wife will be there.
That's right. That's right. So, Gus, thank you so much. Thank you for the time. Thank you for your knowledge, your wisdom, the price you paid, and the struggle and strife you went through to gain the knowledge you have today. It didn't come easy. It came with grit and effort, but now he gets to share with all of us so we can get better as well. So, true leader, appreciate you, brother. Future is bright. Talk soon. All right, everybody. That was a good one. Oh, my goodness. I hope you took notes. I hope you're watching the replay, etc. Grateful for Gus. But here we are. We are 6 days away from our annual convention. I'm so excited for those of you that are investing in yourself, in your family, in your future to get better. And those of you that aren't, I wonder what you're doing. And because you've got one spin around this globe of ours, and why not make it the best one possible? You got a credit card, you got family, you can do whatever it takes to get there. You got a lot of people upline that will do whatever they can to help you. But you can't get better if you don't put yourself in an opportunity to get better. We don't get better by chance. We get better by choice. And here we are on the precipice of one of the will be the best convention, the biggest convention, the most positive information, the most successful people. Everything you want in your business career with us here, you will have put nitrous, full Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, freaking Fast and Furious nitrous onto your business just by showing up, because you're going to gain the information through osmosis. And then if you get intentional about it, I don't even know what you could accomplish. So hope you're going to make the choice, make the investment, and here's a great line. I'll leave you with this. Never begrudge the money you invest into yourself, because into yourself is the only place you can guarantee a positive return. So I'll leave you with that. Grateful for your time, and here's your moment of Zen. Talk soon. Bye for now.
To the next level. How do you actually scale? Now, what everyone says is, well, you got to learn how to work smarter, not harder. And that's true, because you only have so much time. But what does that actually mean? No one actually tells you what that means. Here's what it means. You outsource, you automate, and you delegate. You do those 3 things, that's working smarter. Focus on the 20% of the work that you do that actually pushes your business forward, and then delegate and automate the 80% that doesn't. That 80% needs to happen, but you personally don't need to be doing it at 8 a.m. in the morning. And then apply that to everything: sales, systems, operations, and branding marketing. And then the key here, and this is where everyone gets tripped up, is to know what that 20% actually is. What part of your day actually pushes your business forward the most? I thought it was everything that I do, but it's not. And that's where my coach came into play. I have a coach that told me, nope, this is the 20%. This is the 80%.